what's up guys? This is Johnny Cervantes. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another vlog. Guys, I know you guys are here to see some cool content, but I feel like I owe you guys this. I feel like I need to tell you guys who I really...
Well, first and foremost, I grew up in a very large family. There were 8 siblings plus my mom and dad, so there was basically 10. And I was the youngest of everybody. And it was hard, honestly, to get attention. My parents didn't have any money, and so it was hard. It was hard for me. It was very hard for me to stand out or to do things. So at the age of 11, I thought to myself, well, if I become responsible, then people are going to notice me. And so I started buying my own clothes. I started working in the fields picking oranges with my father, so I can buy my school clothes. And that got me noticed for my mom and my dad and everybody else, that, you know, I was a hard worker and stuff like that. But yeah, I just didn't want to depend on my parents anymore. I knew it was a burden, and it was hard for them to even put food on the table. And then after that, you know, I just got used to working on the weekends and on the holidays. And by the time I was 16, I mean, working with grown-ups really makes you grow up fast. And so by the time I'm 16, I decided to quit school and just start working. And what that happens right there is you start hanging out with the wrong crowds. You start hanging around with older people, and then one thing leads to another, and then you start doing drugs. And that was a very hard time for me. Doing drugs was the stupidest thing I probably could have ever done. But once you start, it's just stupid. It's just hard to. You're just trying to fit in and drink and stuff like that. So that happened from 16. When I quit school, I started doing construction until I was about 20 years old. Then that's when I met my wife. I was still doing drugs at the time. And so when I met my wife, I tried to stop, and I couldn't. I just couldn't stop, you know, because you're still drinking and doing, you know, but I would never leave work. I mean, my work was my priority. I loved my job. And so I started trying to stop I tried to stop hanging out with the wrong crowds, but still it was hard to. So you were still doing the drugs, you were still drinking, and then finally my daughter was born in 2002. She got pregnant in 2001. So by 2002 we had our daughter Sydney, and then I said, okay, you know what, this is time. It's time for me to change. My kids wouldn't want to see me this way. I said that's unacceptable. So I struggled with the addiction anyways, and I just struggled. I couldn't do it. And then so I kept on for another 2 years. Then when my son was born, I knew I had to take action on what I had to do. There was no way in hell that my kids were going to see me as a failure. I wanted my kids to be proud of me. So I realized really quick that I had a problem. So what I ended up doing, I stopped drinking, I stopped hanging out with friends, and that led to staying at home, enjoying my time with my family, and not drinking. Because when even if you want to leave the drugs, you still drinking. Well, drinking leads to drugs, and it's just a cycle. So I stopped hanging out with friends, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing the drugs, and I've been drug free since, you know, and it's been amazing. Then after I overcame that, you know, I started overcoming with my job, and I was working for my brothers at the time in construction. And when they see me succeeding, they were still hate, because they knew I was doing drugs, and they knew where I came from, and that I was doing drugs, and I was a bad person. But they noticed I was really good at what I was doing, and I would never get any recognition. They would recognize it, but they would never want to give it to me directly. So one day I got really tired, and this is what happened. My brother came to the job site where I was working, because I was working for my brother. And he told the guy he was with, he said, hey, this is my younger brother. And the guy had the audacity to say, oh, the worthless one. And that has always stayed here. I'm the worthless one. And so I said, well, what is my brother talking about? You know, I haven't done drugs in 4 years at the time. You know, back then it was like 4 years, 5 years. So I decided I want to do better for myself. So I told my brother I was going to get my contractor's license, and then I got fired. I got fired from my brother's company because I wanted to do better for myself and provide for my family. So he fired me. I remember vaguely, it was on a Wednesday. He said, Johnny, he said, I want people that are going to work for me, and I So Friday is your last day. And I ain't afraid of work. So what I told him, I said, no, don't worry about it. I said, today is my last day. And I told him, come and pick up your trailer. Come, because I had all the tools in the trailer. I said, come and pick up your trailer. I said, I'm done. So my wife was pregnant with my youngest son, Matthew, at the time. Now he's 10. It was 10 years ago. So in 2010, when I was fired from my job because I wanted to do better for myself, I ended up getting my contractor's license. But there was no work at the time. So I ended up working at a rock plant and doing everything I could to keep my wife from going to the welfare line. I had more pride in myself than, I didn't want nobody to see my wife there. I had 2 hands and 2 feet. I didn't need nothing fancy, but I believed in myself, and I believed that I was able to do it. I worked at a rock plant, and I was there for 6 months, and then my brother called me back to come back and work for him. He had parted ways with my other brother, and he told me he was sorry, and that he blamed it on my other brother. And then I ended up talking to my other brother, and they blamed it on each other, whatever. So I ended up going working back for my brother in 2013, 2014. It was going to be the beginning of 2015, January 2015. He doesn't pay me. And so I told him I was leaving. He didn't have money for payroll. He didn't have money to pay me. So I told him I was leaving, and he said, wow, what's going on? I said, well, I can't sit and wait until you have something for me. I said, I have to try and work. My family needs money. I need money. And I'm not going to sit and wait with my hand out to see when you're going to be able to pay me. So I decided to leave. And that was the best thing I could have ever done. I am here to tell you guys that if a 16-year-old dropout from high school is able to succeed and go through all this, so can you. I know this is it was a vague intro of my life. That's what I'm about. And so now that I have been able to understand how to make it and how to succeed and how to do it, I do live in a trailer, and I do have a supercar. Live the way you want to live. Believe in yourself. We are who we think we are. So with that being said, guys, I am a father, a husband, and I own a construction company, actually a traveling construction company that I started in 2015, and we work in the Bay Area now. And so what inspires me? What inspires me is to help other people succeed, is to help everybody, whoever, when I get a chance to. And with that being said, live your life the way you want to live it. People think because I have a supercar I should have a huge or beautiful house. I'm not going to live to anybody's expectations. Live to your own expectations, guys. Trust me, I've been there, done that. I've had a nice house. For what? To entertain? Then you're a debt up to your neck? You don't need that, guys. Whatever you do in this life, guys, do it because you love it. Do it because you are passionate about your job. And that is going to make you the best person out there. That's going to make you the best employee. You're going to know the ins and outs of that job, in that position. And that, my friend, is going to lead you to start your own company, to tweak your company and make it the best it can. And when you tweak your company and you start on your journey, remember one thing. Remember why you started. Remember why you started. Do not doubt yourself. Remember, we are who we think we are. Guys, just think about this. We could potentially fail doing things we hate. Why not take a chance in doing things that we love? We have nothing to lose, guys. I started my company with $10,000 that I refinanced a truck that I had. I put myself $10,000 in debt so I could start. And here I am today, living proof to tell you guys that it is possible. If a 16-year-old dropout can do it, I promise you, you can too. Remember, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. Trust me, guys, we are not here to impress, we're here to inspire.